Hi, I'm Matt from hockeyreviews.ca, and this is the true TF9 and TF7 unboxing initial snapshot review. Before that, if you are buying any hockey equipment like these skates, please check out the link in the description to purehockey.com. Purchasing anything by using that link will give me a kickback, helps me fund the channel, so I keep doing what I'm doing and making more content. Okay, so these skates, first of all, I am not a true influencer. So this isn't like they didn't send them to me. I borrowed these from a store like I do with a lot of the stuff. But unlike some of the other videos out there, I am not sponsored by True. True doesn't send me free stuff. So remember that when I'm talking about this. Also remember that I've been basically the only person who has been critical about these skates and also critical about my previous custom skates. Like I said, I borrowed these. The idea of these is it's the base of the True custom skate on a retail package, so you don't have to spend, or so you don't have to buy a custom skate if your foot doesn't really need it. Allows stores to hold inventory, and it's at a cheaper price. So I think these TF9s are $800 Canadian. They're cheaper than most retail top-end skates, which I believe are, I'll put the prices up here anyways, because I don't remember off the top of my head. So that's the idea of this. So what you get in this box, very different box compared to the True Custom, which is a big box and stuff, but interesting nonetheless. You get two different makes skates. Obviously, I just put a TF7 in there, so we'll take that out for the time being. So obviously, you get your skates. They come in a bag thing. You get how to bake the skates. So these ones, I think, are 6 minutes in the skate oven, and I'll kind of impose a video right in a second showing the baking process of these and how they are. They aren't quite as soft as the customs because the customs you do 10 minutes. These ones are 6. So when I bake the customs, basically you could peel the whole thing back. These you can't do it that much, but they're not made for the same kind of thing. They're not the whole 10 minutes. So what you get in here is instructions, and then you get these little things for the insole. So I'll talk about that in the future as well. It's their personalized fit system. So custom inserts for, or not inserts, but custom things for the insoles. And you get this little thing here, which is, it's kind of like it's a screwdriver, but it's not a screwdriver. Basically this is so you can stick it into the blade, pull it out, and you can actually pop the blades out. Unlike other companies' quick change tool things like skates, like blades, you need a tool for this one. Bowers, they give you a tool to kind of help. This one, you need the tool. You can't get it out otherwise. Kind of a bad design in my opinion, but it might hold better, but CCMs is still the best in terms of quick release. So here is the TF9 skate going on after being baked. And it's definitely less molded than what the custom skates are, but you also do this for about 6 minutes, or 5 to 6 minutes instead of 10. So it's not quite as crazy, but it's still pretty soft, as you can see. All right, so sizing of these skates, I want to get into really quickly because a lot of people have probably come to this video or have been asking about this. These skates fit half a size bigger than they're labeled. So these are 8Ws. I generally wear an 8.5 double E for retail skates. It's the closest thing that will get to fitting. I generally have to go custom, hence my True custom skates for my goalie and player skates. I have more width on the forefoot and more depth than most normal retail skates can deal with. But closest fitting to me is an 8.5 double E. These are 8Ws. The W's for wide. The reasoning is I put an 8.5 W on, and the skate, I was swimming in the skates on the toes. So I could not touch the end of the skates with my toes standing up at all. That's too big. And to prove that these are actually half a size bigger than they're labeled, this is the insole that came out of this skate. It fits in fine. This is an insole from an 8.5 CCM skate. That's pretty much the same size. That's not a half a size difference right there. This is also another insole from an 8.5 CCM skate, and you actually line it up and it's basically the same or very, very close to being the same. That is not half a size difference when you line them up. So that kind of tells you how big that these fit. When I put this 8 on my foot right now, my toes are brushing it when I'm standing. When I bend my knees, the toes pull off. So on an 8.5D, on an 8.5, any other brand, that's how my skates end up fitting. These ones, again, 8s. The interesting thing to me is these are basically 8s, my custom skates. I asked for 8.5s and got 8s. I cannot wear these without using super feet because my toes are too jammed, and that's after taking out the little insert part. These are bigger, and they should basically be the same skate. So just a heads up of actual fit for what this is. An 8 is closer to an 8.5. So I would say try half a size smaller than you're expecting, and it will probably be closer. One thing I want to clarify about the fit profile. When I tried these on, which is the TF7s, and these are 8Ws, as you can see there, unbaked, my toes were right up against the box, right up against the end. Pretty uncomfortable. Once you bend my knees, it's probably like the pro fit, but it wasn't the comfort that I look for in skates. When I did the TF9s, I baked them. And again, 8W, as you can see, these fit like an 8.5 of other ones where my one toe is just brushing the end. That's the big toe. And it's just brushing the end. So I showed off the insoles that kind of like show that very, very tiny difference between 8.5 stock footbed and what these are. I think these skates, you have to bake them to try them on correctly. They're very moldable. They're kind of like how Isameko's were. If you don't bake them, you don't know how they really fit. Another skate that was like that was Bauer Nexus because it had really big ankle padding basically here. And when you didn't bake them, you would be able to fit a pencil behind your heel all the time because of how big that ankle padding was. What you had to do is bake them. That gets soft. You put your heel in, kick your heel back, tighten it up, and your heel basically, the ankle padding forms around your heel and pulls your heel back. I think that's what happened with these when I baked these compared to these, because my heel didn't feel like it was all the way back in this one, the non-baked ones. So when I said I had to go down half a size and I would recommend trying that is when you bake them. When you don't, they fit differently. So definitely try to bake them and see that difference before like just going that normal sizing, because for me, this as an 8 fit just like my 8.5 Super Tax did. So in terms of length, TF9 skate is supposed to be the retail version of the true custom skate, which you can see here. And I'm going to say it's pretty close. It's not identical, obviously, because the custom skate is more based on your foot mold and everything, but it is pretty close. You have your removable tongue, just like you do on the custom skate. It's Velcroable, same way. The nice thing about that is you can adjust the height of it. So if you want to fill up more space at the bottom of your, down here, you can adjust it down. If you want it to be higher, the way it Velcros in right here, you adjust that Velcro piece and put it the way you want it to. It's a pretty nice feature. Since this is out, I'm going to talk about this tongue. I really like this. It's a very thin tongue, so it reminds me of like the Bauer 195 days and Total One days. So it's very thin all the way through. I like this logo material on here, just a nice touch. Has their T-guard, which reminds me of my FT1s and FT2s I had, which had something similar, but there I think was segmented. I really like that design. Helps with lace bite. Also adds protection from shots as well. The reason I like this tongue is because while it is thinner on the sides, and I have had people complain about how this part digging into the side of their foot, the middle part is super soft. So you can see this, hopefully you can see this, how soft the middle part of this tongue is. There's like a nice layer of foam underneath what this is, and I'm a huge fan of that. Reminds me of the CCM AS3 Pro goalie skates, which have a memory foam tongue. This isn't quite memory foam, but it's really nice, and I want to give them props for that. I'm a huge fan of this. If I could get this tongue on my skates, I probably would, but I'm too cheap and lazy to try to do that. So, but anyways, there we go for the tongue. So the footbed is really interesting to me because it's so much different than what the custom one is. So it's pretty thick. It's also very soft at the bottom of it. And it's pretty nice. The custom one is much thinner, and it does come with this second piece. So the new ones, the non-custom does not come with that second piece. So this one will obviously fit most people, not be custom. So the whole point of their personalized fit system is these little pieces here. So what you do, take off this 3M tape, put it in right there, and it adjusts your arch. And it will push up your arch and adjust it. That way, if you have different arch shapes, you can use this to make it fit better and more like a custom skate. It's a nice feature. They have two sizes, a medium and a large, so you adjust it based on whatever arches you have. According to Scott Van Horn, you can cut them as well because it is just foam, and you can adjust it exactly how you want to really dial in that. That's pretty nice. I'm a fan of that design. So that's going to be the same thing in the TF7s. Footbed's the same. I believe it still comes with those adjustability pieces. I didn't bring the box, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be the same there. So pretty decent, pretty nice. I'm pretty impressed. So the rest of this skate is what actually really impresses me a lot. I've been a critic of True Skates in the past because of just how, like, the build quality of them and the interiors being just a total joke, and the liners not having wear guards, everything like that. This is what the custom skate should have been like to begin with. Just look at like the weave pattern, which I'm okay with the weaves not being perfect like this is. It doesn't really matter. But everything on this skate looks like it's actually a finished product. Whereas the custom skates look like they were made in someone's basement. They still have a bit of that epoxy or whatever coming out of the edge here. It's not bad though, and it's actually uniform, unlike the customs, which are kind of spotty all the way through where you can see chunks of it taken out. So it's much nicer in that regard. So this toe box is the same as what was on the new custom skate. Same with all the design right here. So not a huge change there, pretty standard. And also the actual like tendon guard and everything there is the same as well. Inside you get a hydro foam, just like I'm pretty sure the custom. Similar to what my older custom is. But the nice thing about this is you do get those wear guards on the inside of the liner, which is something I've been calling for since the beginning of True Skates. My concern is that they don't actually go all the way on the outside like all the other companies do. Instead, it's just on the inside, but it's nice to have that because mine do have some wear on the inside here. It's not terrible, but it is there, and if you do wear them more and more and more, it's going to wear out more. It's nice to have those wear guards. It's a cheap thing to do, and it's just a nice finishing thing. Okay, the biggest part about this skate, which makes me very impressed with it, is so now the midsole is actually carbon fiber and not pieces of paper and plastic. And the other thing I want to call out is the finish of this is way better than what the customs were. You don't really have any plastic sticking out, or at least it doesn't seem like that on this one. You do have some, like there's a few little pieces of stuff at the bottom, but it's way better than what the old one was. And you can actually see like the exposed fibers, carbon fiber at the bottom, compared to on mine, which you can see tape and plastic, and you can see like all little pieces of tape coming up all over the place. The finish on these is really good, and I got to give them props for that. So the new steel is called the Shift Onyx. It's a stainless steel with a coating on it. I don't know how well it works. I don't know if it scrapes off like LS5s do, or if it's more like the Step Black steel. I haven't used it, can't comment on it. Just gonna leave it there. Step is now with CCM. That's CCM owned Step. So all the Step that comes on these custom skates still is leftover inventory, and then it will shift to the steel in the future. I think performance is going to be there. I saw some people online talk about it being thinner than the custom skates. So the foam up here does feel thinner than my custom player skates, but it doesn't feel thinner than my custom goalie skates. So maybe the foam on my goalie skates has just been worn out, but up here, like it doesn't feel bad or anything like that. So I'm not going to give them criticism for that. It's just something that is slightly different. This is supposed to fit a wider range of feet stock, and it's not custom. So that could be one of the reasons. But everything down here feels fine. It feels just like my player skate does for like how big the foams are. And the heel actually has more foam on it, like basically back right in here. And especially up here, which I think makes sense because that way when you wrap it with the saran wrap to actually bake this thing, that foam should wrap around your heel and like back of your foot better. So you actually fit in the skate a little bit better. So that makes sense to me. It still doesn't have the comfort edge, but you can see some of the skates are softer up there. My customs kind of aren't. They're actually pretty stiff right there. This one is softer, you can see. So it's not that big of a problem because it will kind of just act as a comfort edge like itself, where my customs don't in that sense. I'm very impressed with this skate, and I definitely recommend, like it's a good option to now, especially with the price. Like it can't be beat for the price because it's undercutting all the other top tier skates. And if this was a top tier skate, this is supposedly the exact same skate as this, just made overseas with better fit and finish and not directly made to your foot. So this is cheaper, and that's awesome. And I got to give True huge props for that, because they're not, I'm not gonna say they're changing the game, they're just forcing companies to react to this, or hopefully they will, and we'll see what happens next generation, or if these start creeping up in price in the future, which might and probably will be the thing. Now we are going to talk about the differences between the TF7 and the TF9. So we'll get rid of my custom skates because we're no longer talking about that. I don't know if the TF7 comes with the insole inserts. I didn't look in the box, I forgot to. They might. Someone can correct me, or you can just look it up. So the TF7 tongue is very different than the TF9 tongue, and it kind of aims at a different target. And what I mean by that is it is thicker all the way through, but it's a felt. So you can see the felt on the side. It is still not like a traditional massive felt like this one. It's much more modern, I should say, with the material on the back. And it still has like that a guard right here. It's not quite the T-guard, but it still has extra padding. It's more streamlined too, I would say. But you do get a different tongue, so that's interesting there. I'm not sure why they didn't just use this tongue both. Maybe it's a cost thing, or at least it is just to give different options. Steel is their shift stainless without the coating. So exact same steel on that is on the Onyx. It's just one's coated, one isn't. That's it. The major difference between the TF7 and the TF9 is the liner is a different material. They're hydrofoam on this one. I can't remember what this one is called, but it is like it almost feels more grippy, to be honest, but it is a different liner. It feels more like not nylon, but it's not like a leather. It does still have the wear guards, which is nice. Padding honestly feels like pretty much the same all throughout. So that feels the same. The big difference here is this is made out of fiberglass and not carbon fiber. I don't know why I just knocked it. You can't tell the difference. So this is all blacked out, but it is still a fiberglass one-piece boot instead of a carbon fiber one-piece boot. Similar in my eyes to what the Mako first gen was, where it was fiberglass and not carbon fiber. I liked how the Mako exposed that fiberglass and it was like a silver. I don't like how this is just painted black, but I mean, that's kind of me nitpicking. Who, if they work, they work. I like the exposed carbon on this better, but this is a different price point skate. And in my opinion, this skate should be extremely competitive for the price and offer you a lot of performance and tech. One-piece boot with a different material than carbon fiber, but still that one-piece boot, and that's very impressive. And the midsole has that carbon fiber. Well, I think it's a unidirectional carbon fiber on the midsole to connect everything up together. The same that is on the TF9. Again, better than what the Pro Customs are in terms of fit and finish and everything. That's really impressive. So I think that's about it for this video on the True TF9 skates. I've been a huge critic of True in the past. I will continue to be a critic of any company I think can make improvements. These are an awesome product. Now obviously I haven't worn these, and I might buy a pair to test out to see how they are, but I have a feeling they're fine. I'm really impressed with these. They're like everything from what I can see and from me baking them too, I've been impressed with them. This I think is a top end skate for without top end price, and this is so close to a top end skate with way cheaper. I think this is $500. Might be $500 US, but it's still way cheaper than what the other like drop down tier skates are, and it's an awesome value for what you're getting. I wish my custom skate was made the same way this was in terms of fit and finish and quality. This is better. This is a huge improvement. This is what they should have been doing from the beginning. Okay, not when it was VH, because I mean, it was kind of made in a guy's basement. Not technically, but this is way better than what this is. Good job, True. Like, you did something really well. You deserve props. I'm a huge fan. I think I might buy these just to try them out and see what I think. But I say that and I can't get on the ice right now anyway, so we'll see. So anyways, that's what it for this video on the True TF9 and TF7 skates. So thank you for watching. If it was helpful, please reach out to True and let them know on social media, on Instagram and Twitter. If you are buying any hockey equipment like these skates, please check out the link in the description to Pure Hockey. Doing so, clicking the link and making a purchase will give me a kickback, so it helps support the channel so I can keep doing what I'm doing, like buying these skates to actually test out, which I might or might not do. Thank you very much for watching. Take it easy.
You're watching HockeyReviews.ca.